Hello, everybody. Hi. Good evening. How are you? We get ready to get started here. How's everybody doing? I see Austin is here. Hi, love. How y'all doing? As you can see, I'm solo today, at least for right now until Mr. Gary comes in. Let me send him this link. You guys know that. Let's see. Invite. Let me send this to him really quick. Now. So today I am writing solo. It's actually good things though, because Mr. Gary is getting some things wrapped up for us in the States. And I'm holding things down here with the kids. Hi, how are you? The hot cross buns and the pickled fish, y'all started already, child. Y'all started already. I have not yet, but I actually plan on doing so. Thank you so much, Austin, as it's reminding us, please, guys, like, subscribe, and share. Hopefully this lighting is right. Listen, I already respect my husband and what he does, but when he's not here, it makes me I loathe that he's not here, child. Oh my gosh. He is like my superhero. He makes sure all this stuff is doing. So if the light is not the best, I see this right here is like driving me nuts. It's kind of like got a little glare. I'm so sorry. Hopefully it's not distracting you guys. I'm so sorry. I hope it's not. But we're going to work through it. Noni, you're not late. I knew today, I said, I got to give my family time to come in. Whew. I should have had some tea. I have some water here, but listen, I almost wish I had, never mind. Anyway, so I'm happy to be here. You know, it's amazing things that's going on. You know, Mr. Gary went to handle some stuff for the back in the States. As we shared, we were kind of really putting the pedal to the metal and doing what we needed to do, not to just be here, but to be fully present, and to also, because they say, you know, where your heart is, you invest yourself, your finances, your time. And so that's also what we're doing. So he went back to handle some things with property, and that, listen, God is so awesome, absolutely amazing. Like, who does that? Cash offer in less than 7 days, full price? Listen, I'm just saying that God is really up to something. He's doing what he wants to do. And I absolutely want to thank all of you guys for your prayers, for your uplifting, for your inbox messages, your Instagram DMs, your Gmails, your WhatsApp chats. Listen, if you've messaged me, you know I do respond, as does Mr. Gary. I've had a few of you venture over to Bigo World, and come and chat and hang out with us. I encourage you, if you have not, don't be afraid. It's free to download. If you're also looking to become a part of the JourneyToZA family, by all means, message us. You can find us on Bigo, Bigo. It's a free app, social media that we use to also cultivate our community and connect with those that are within beautiful South Africa. And it's also just kind of a more relaxed forum instead of just sitting here and I'm ranting and talking the way that y'all know I can, and trying to keep up with your comments. We can all kind of come in and discuss things. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to test pilot something this week. I'm going to do some time here. And then what I'm actually going to do is, before I leave off of here completely, I'll make a forum on Bigo to allow people to come over, and we can kind of come together and kind of have a whole vibe in the room. And you can chit chat with me, ask me questions. We can talk about stuff like the hot cross buns and the pickled fish culture. We can talk about that because y'all know I like to cook. I'm always up for a challenge. And now I got my hot cross buns today. Now I was in Checkers today, and I didn't get the pickled fish because I wanted to have it fresh. I did some, it's Tuesday. I was doing my mommy stuff. I had to get other things for the kids, but I have a whole thing planned. I'm going to do my first official try at the whole South African pickled fish for Easter thing. I'm going to try that and I'm going to record it, y'all. So pray for me that I am able to embody this deliciousness in these hands of mine and try to throw a little bit of a Southern mix on it and get this thing going for Easter. Oh my gosh, it's Easter week almost. My gosh, I can't believe it. Hi, Noni, how are you? Again, you're not late. Yes, I agree. It's a sign that he has blessed us. He wants us to be here. And it's just so many amazing things that's happening. I've met and connected with some awesome people, not even just, subscribers, but people that, I don't throw the word friend around lightly at all, but truly people that resemble those connections that begin to bud and form friendships. Absolutely, wealth of information. If you got to look at any of the postings this week, you see, we got to celebrate our king, our baby boy's birthday. That was awesome. Some great family time. And then I got to have a girl date. I know some people were fussing at me. It was like, why do you record? But everything doesn't have to be recorded, Some things I think are meant to be experienced. Everything is not, for the camera. And my prayer is that as we continue to do this and as this channel begins to continue to shape itself and it grows and whatever other opportunities it gives us, myself, my husband, our family, that we never lose sight of being able to not just do things to stream and share, but to experience. Because no doubt when we have those types of experiences and those rooted connections, that it's going to make us richer people in our understanding and our knowledge and our presentation of the country, what we're learning, all of that. All of that's factored in, especially off camera, right? Because it's going to come through here. And so that was really, really great to do. Let's see. I need to set a binge schedule to watch most of your videos, traveling. Okay, we did hit 60 videos this week. That was great. They're not that long. I try not to make them too long, This week, I really just wanted to give you guys a little bit more of a view in to us. I know some of you were saying, where are the little ones? I keep hearing about the 7. It's not even that I'm not willing for them to be here. I am a mama bear. I'm incredibly protective over them. But also they're little. So sometimes they're all over the place. We've recorded so much stuff, you guys. We have a recording that we did like weeks ago with all of us sitting, and little one was everywhere. I was like, you know what? I should post it just because they want to see the little people. Let them see them and all their rawness and squirming and doing everything else, and just throw my whole perfectionist thing out the window. Just throw it out the window. That's okay. And you know what? Knowing y'all rock stars so much. You love us so much. You would literally just probably eat it up and love it to death. So we might just do that. So if you see that video pop out, don't look at me like I'm crazy. Y'all better watch it all the way through and like it and share. Absolutely. Let's see. The Sisters of America in South Africa. See, y'all, let me get my pen. Y'all know every time we do this, I have my notes pages. Y'all give me homework. I have not heard of them. If you've told me about them, let me write it down. I have not heard of them, or if you told me about them, maybe I didn't write it on my notes page and I forgot. So I have written it now. I will check into them. Traveling, looking at hitting this essay with a relative by the end of the year. It's a go-see trip for my relative. We are looking late this year, latest early next year. Listen, let us know. We do have, for some of you, we've had quite a few people reach out to us via our email address. If you don't have it, it's TheELisa Gary@gmail.com. In regards to any of the tour sessions, whether it's the virtual school or home tours, as well as just kind of having a buddy, if you will. I almost don't like to, we froze a little bit. I almost don't like to call it like a tour. It's more just, you need a buddy. You want somebody that's kind of been here to show you around. Let's be clear. I have not been here long. However, I do recognize both myself, my family, and the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that we've learned, we've gained, the little nuances of just the place that we've set in root that we began to understand, especially as a family. And so if there are those that want to come and then kind of, connect with us on that level in terms of family things and navigating stuff the way that we did, thank God, very successfully, then by all means, we will offer that. So you can reach out to us. You can ask us. We do have itinerary prepared if you're doing 6 to 10 days. I suggest at least 10 days here, because the travel in itself, you need to have those buffer days to rest and prepare. You don't want to come right down off of such a long flight from the States, about 22, 23 hours, and not have some pace time. So we do have that, and we've been sending those links out. We have people that are planning to come as early as April. I'm excited about that. What I will say is that I am not necessarily going to proposition these people to be a part of the channel, because this is a very sacred experience. Moving your family is very much a big deal. And you want to make sure that you're having the time to think. Some people are making the decision and their families have absolutely no idea. And I understand that, where, you don't want naysayers. You don't want people telling you, that you shouldn't do something, or, just kind of negative talk in your ear. And so we wouldn't want that to be, they're coming out and they're like, what is this talking about? You're thinking about going to Africa. So we want to respect that. But most certainly, as some are open and willing to share their stories and to be interviewed, we will definitely do so. Okay, so let's get into, let's see. Perfect question. Oh, Annalisa. Is it Annalisa Nakani? I like that. Spin on it, Annalisa. Okay. This is a perfect question. Hi, Poppy. How are you? To open up this forum, right? I think one of the biggest things, and we saw it in the title, is the whole helper system, right? For me, as a African who was living in the diaspora now here, one, for, hey, Kamoto, how are you, honey? For me, especially being in like kind of the middle class, if you will, having a helper, that's not something you have. Now, what's common is you'll have a babysitter, someone, or you send your younger children to daycare, if you will, like preschool. So it's almost like they're really helping you to watch the children while you're at work or school or what have you. But there's my friends. What time is it? It's time. They most certainly will allow for that, those things. That resource allows for you to have that time. But in terms of a helper, as you see it in South Africa, and I guess maybe I should, it's just not, that's not a thing. That's something for, I guess, maybe the affluent, those with money, upper class, if you will. You may have like cleaning services, if you can afford that, to have somebody come in, clean here and there, whatever. But to the extent of what the helper system is in South Africa, no, that's not something that you really see. And even the culture, if you will, in South Africa, it's very common to have someone that is constantly there, helping mother the children, cooking, all the different, I guess, it's a little different with each family and what they require. But even to the extent of the helper quarters. So let me explain. If you haven't been to South Africa, you may like, what is she talking about? So in South Africa, a lot of the properties have what's called, the helpers quarters. So there are separate housing or facility on the grounds of the house for you to have your live-in help, to have their own space, but to be quite close to you in order to do the things that you may need to, to have done. Laundry, ironing, cleaning, cooking, maybe tending to the kids. That's just like domestic work, but it's not just they come in, they kind of do some stuff, you pay them, they leave. It's more of like a live-in kind of, if you're from America, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Jeffrey type deal, you know what I mean? So that is very common here. And so, and especially live-in wisdom, helpers are pretty common here. It's all inclusive here. Cleaning, babysitting, everything, screening is just not easy without an agency. A helper is typically between 3,000 and 5,000 Rand a month. So for those of you that are American, that's roughly $283 to about $400 US for a live-in. Helper. Okay. Yeah, I said that. Between $280 to about $300-400, give or take. Mainly white people or upper class black people have those. Living wisdom, what you trying to say? Okay. I have to let me say this. One of the things that I'm very careful with is, and I guess that's why I am where I am. With this week, no, Poppy, I do not have one. So with these live streams, I like to kind of have the type of conversations where the community gets to weigh in, because you guys kind of get to hear what I'm thinking and what I'm experiencing. And public service announcement, y'all. President will be closing alcohol saves the day for 11 days with immediate effect. So don't forget to get Mr. Gary get his drinks. Y'all a mess. I can't with y'all today. Listen here. We not even finna listen all down. Okay, y'all mess. So am I taking away from the president's time? Because he is supposed to be speaking today. I hope I didn't, my God. But so here's the thing. As I'm figuring this whole thing out, I was getting some questions and just kind of understanding the whole helper system. Because in the States, as a mom, I have 5 children. So, you do what you need to do. As mom and dad, you're gonna, I ran whole business. Everything. If it's cook and clean and laundry and market, you guys see me, grocery hauls, all of that. It's us. We're doing it. That's it. We decided to have these children. It's our responsibility to take care of them. And and for most people, you can't even think to have a nanny or what have you. No, you're happy. You're like, oh God, you're almost 5. You get to go to school. I get a little bit of a break. I get some help. But to go to the extent of someone being in your home, in your personal space, that is a little bit evasive for me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't even know what I would do with myself. I'm used to, cooking and cleaning, and even right before this, I had to come in a little bit later because the mister wasn't here. My other half, my A-spoon coon, high five, we got it, teamwork, and go. No, he, so thank God it only took like an extra hour, and probably 40 minutes of that was just for me to catch my breath and refocus and be ready to go. But I'm so used to doing everything. And we did have a helper that would just come literally like once a week just to kind of tidy things, help with little things, but all the heavy lifting now, still mainly me. And it still kind of felt weird. Somebody else cleaning your clothes and cleaning up after the kids. And it was a little bit weird for me. So I was saying, how I was wondering what you guys thought about that, especially the Americans that are in the chat. There's 28 of you. So please, because I know he getting ready to say it. So please like the video, please share, subscribe if you have not, and weigh into this conversation because it's so much that goes into one, just the personal nature of someone being in your space, right? And then on top of it, dealing with your children, being around your spouse. It's so much that you have to kind of think about anyway, let alone it's not being a part of your custom, but also recognizing that, if it's available, you may want to kind of have some help, if you will. But you definitely have to make sure that you are being very cautious. I've heard lots of things about, look at you. Are you here? Let's invite. Are you here? Is that you? Don't play with me. You better accept that. That chat. If that's you, I invited you. I think Mr. Gary's in the comments, y'all. Look at him looking. Oh, he think he's slick, y'all. No, you come on in here. You come on in this room. But yeah. So like, what do you guys think? I know I've heard lots of things. Everything from the type of where your helper is more likely where they should come from, and work ethic, all sorts of things. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to ask my community. So I want to kind of try out something different today. Maybe we could try to have somebody come on. Will says, it's different from the States. It's not common to have domestic workers in your homes in the U.S., but I have this lady who's come in and clean my home 3 times a month. I pay her $90 each. $90 each. So you're having her 3 times a month, $270. So can you imagine for what you're paying this lady just a couple hours to come in and tidy up? You could have a living for the whole month. I mean, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. Because of apartheid, most of our mothers that are maids are unskilled, so all they can do is clean offices and houses. Let me go back up to find, hold on. I also hate the idea of domestic workers, especially because of how low they get paid. Just reminds me of slavery. I promise you the only reason they do it is out of desperation. Hold on. Let's see if I can. I want to know. I'm actually going to, is it info or is it fo? I want to make sure I say this correctly. I'd be interested to have you come on. If you don't mind, if you'll put your, actually, I'm going to put it here. If you put your email address, I'll send you a link so you can come on. I'd be really interested to kind of hear your take live on this. But I agree, and I think that was part of my issue too. So my grandmother was a domestic worker. Actually, her whole life she worked for a Jewish couple from the time I was a baby up until I want to say I was well into middle school. She took a break for a little bit. Then they had a baby. Then they had somebody. The person just, I guess, didn't do it like Ada did, and they called her back. So she was working for them part-time. They paid her very well. They took care of her. I don't think I realized how poor we were, because most of the things that they had for their young baby, who was around the same age as me, I was the recipient. It passed down because they didn't have any other children. So naturally it came home with her. But that was, what I knew of a housekeeper. And I mean, she was great at it. An awesome cook. I mean, she taught me, my God, and awesome at keeping house, and herself had multiple children. And so I understand like that idea of that's not what a person would aspire to be. And so I think I was kind of where you were in terms of, let me see if you put your email. Oh, po. Y'all know this American tongue. I'm not getting everything yet. I'm not getting it all yet. But yes, it's definitely, let me put the link here. Maybe that'll work. If I put the link, if you'd like to come on, we're going to just try it out and see how it goes. Because remember, we're going to try out the Bigo session too, and have people come over and chat a little bit, and maybe we can continue the discussion. But yeah, that's a lot to think about. And I can imagine it also needs to be quite a balance of understanding. I know in the States, it's very common for people to have help or workers, and they're so nasty to them. And to me, these people are helping to assist you with the most intimate of things, such as assisting your family. That is a big deal, a really big deal. Let's see. You should check out the Sweep Self app. You order the helper who comes in and tidy and cleans up for that day. Oh, it's an app. So it's like a Merry Maids Sweep South. Good information. Okay. That's good to know. Back in the day, white folks in the USA used slaves for all that domestic cleaning and housework. Since the ending of slavery, they don't trust us in their Well, really? They don't trust us in their homes. But that's a big conversation. I've talked to some people. I've been having these conversations, and that's why I wanted to bring it to the community, where people living in their homes or whatever, but there's like a level of not trusting. And it's like, how do you live like that? Like, you have people that are in your house, but you're like, you have to check them, some steal, that's a lot. I think that would do a lot to my brain. Not everyone has or needs a helper in South Africa. That's true. That is true. There's a family meeting coming up in 30 minutes. Do you attend our family meetings? Oh, are you talking about wait a minute. Are you talking about the president's speech? Help me out. Let me make sure I'm understanding what you're talking about. Family meeting. It's crazy, but I'm like, let's see. Domestic work helps a lot. I was raised by it, and I also did it part-time until I finished my med school. It really contributed to my success. And that's why I said I think it's kind of like twofold. It's definitely a respect thing. And it also is like a means to a respectable, I think, means to an end. I know in the States, hey, hopefully we're all adults here. We've heard of things that some people do in order to make ends meet. Some people may resort to less, quote unquote, godly activities to make ends meet. Others may decide to be workers. It's pretty of children. I personally, a product of a woman who was a career domestic worker, but she was the one that taught me, like literally my first check that I wrote, how to balance my books. She gave me my first understanding how to count money. That was her. So very important. Sorry to go off topic. How do you plan to incorporate your culture or African American culture with South African culture in your children's upbringing? When you ask that, again, please use the link at the bottom so that these type of conversations, we can kind of have them. You can come on, you click the link and come in to join, and we can bring you on, and we can talk about it a little bit. I need a little bit more context in terms of what exactly are you speaking about, like Black history, in terms of African American history, or dressing, food. I cook the way we cook anyway. I'm gonna find a way. But like, what exactly are you speaking of? I prefer this family meeting continue. We'll get the summary of President's speech 30 minutes after his announcement. Oh, you mean the family meeting we're gonna have on Bigo? Okay. You talking to someone else? I prefer this family meeting. We'll get the president's speech. Oh my God. Wow. I don't know how that makes me feel. Hi, Miguel. How are you? Great channel. Enjoy you sharing your experience here. I wanted to ask, coming to South Africa, is there a feeling like, wow, I'm in a country of freedom where people matter, no race is superior? There is. There definitely is. Again, Mr. Garrett, listen, y'all. I wish I could just like bottle y'all up and just send you to him because I know that stuff would have been done. He is clearing out a whole huge property. He's handling, resources and business and realtor and all sorts of stuff. He's handling that. So he's holding it down there. I'm holding it down here. He has to get ready to drive cross country. That would be great if y'all did go on Bigo. Y'all could keep him some company on going across the road and get have some chats and communicate and see the real Mr. Gary. I know a couple of our viewers got to come on Bigo and chat with him. And yeah, I told you he's not shy at all. He is naughty. So yeah. When the president just us, we call it a family meeting. Okay, got it. Listen, high five. Y'all teaching me. Y'all are teaching me. South Africa is very segregated and racial, but if you are Black American, you won't be treated badly because you're considered to be Western. And so I think that's, we have someone here. Hold on. Add to stream. Hello. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Click the link again, love. Let me do it again. I don't know what happened. You disappeared. I'll put the link again. Maybe you didn't mean to join or you got scared. I'll put it again. You'll pop up down here if you want to come on and chat a bit, and I'll go ahead and bring you up. I definitely believe that, again, let me be clear that I just gave you the link, my dear, so you can just copy the link and use that to come in. Okay. As a Black American transplanting into South Africa, I understand that I may have a different experience than maybe others that have been here. I had someone come on to Bigo yesterday and they said, you guys hear that? The baby's playing. That they are going to have a different take. So what they said, again, typical question, why would you come to South Africa with all the crime here? And I said, well, there's crime everywhere. There's crime in the States. And he said, well, it's not like here. And I said, well, where are you getting that information? I watch Fox News. I almost fell out you watch Fox News. So you're getting your take on the level of crime in America off of Fox News, which is an isolated version of what the masses see based on the ideals and the concept of a very segmented group of people that have the media control and the finances in order to depict whatever they would want to. I really hope that I asked Mr. Gary while he was there if he could do a segment or do some recording and show you guys where we're from, show you what the streets look like, show you what, kind of like a live stream of a day in the life in the area that we grew up in, because it looks like Alexandria. It looks like some of the less desirable areas of maybe Soweto or what have you. We understand that all of these places are not like that. But if you go, if you Google the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, Maryland, and you look at the grand yachts, and then they have the, what do you call it? The marina and the boats for you to go take cruises, and then you pan left and you see the power plant and all this beautiful shopping and restaurants, seafood, all this. And it's like, oh, that's just great. But if you literally go 2, maybe 3 blocks left, west, what have you, you're going to end up on Martin Luther King Boulevard. And if you go another 5, 6 blocks up, you're going to hit Pennsylvania Avenue, Northern Parkway. That's where I grew up. Drug addicts, or what we call crack fiends, you know, black on black crime. You have, you know, endless stories of people who lost children, loved ones, just sitting on their steps or their stoop. Gun violence because a gang, they're fighting, you know, fighting for senseless things. You wore the wrong color because you're a part of this gang or that gang or what have you. Drug wars, excessive poverty, homelessness. You have one block that is right next to Johns Hopkins Hospital, and it's literally beautiful. And then you go maybe a block up Broadway, down the street, rows and rows and rows of abandoned houses that are boarded up. That you're going, when you live there, why can't the city invest some of this money that they're doing for X, Y, and Z and create affordable housing, allow people the opportunity to get off the street and go into these houses? So I understand. So that may seem like it was a rant off topic, but it's not. When Black Americans come here, they're not as lack of understanding as you may think, depending on where they're from. Some of these areas like inner city Chicago, and I mean, even some areas where we lived in Phoenix, you go on the wrong side of the track, it's rough. So the idea and the thought that America is, ooh, you know, it depends on the pot. It depends on where you were planted. I literally, my husband and I left the East Coast and went to Arizona because we were so concerned with the crime. It was outlandish. It was ridiculous. We were afraid that our children were going to become the next, you know, news story on Channel 13. And then if it's not, worried about them becoming hooked on drugs or the poor educational system or becoming a victim of senseless gun violence and something they had nothing to do, they can't really go outside and play. They are, you know, caught in the middle of something that has nothing to do with them. They're just being children. And then you also have to deal with being targeted as a Black person, whether it's shopping in the store, whether it's, you know, you're just driving while Black, walking while Black, that's a thing, right? So it is important to understand that when people are coming here, even with all the, you know, the things we hear, xenophobia, the kind of segmented tribalism, not the sense of understanding who you are and your roots and where you come from, but all of that kind of inner bickering that goes on within South Africa with the different, you know, tribes that create and that have come here and that makes up the history of South Africa. As Black Americans, when we come, we see you all collectively as us and beautiful and want to be a part of that. And that is very important to understand in regards to how we interact with you and what we see when we come versus what you all may see in regards to why we would want to be here. So in relation to this topic of helpers, it's like, that's something that's attainable. Listen, as a Black woman, you may hear him right now, like you may or may not. My son is having a whole meltdown because he can't have something that he wants. In order for me to be here and to do what I'm doing, you need a helping hand, right? You need your community. I don't know where exactly it stems from, but they said it takes a village to raise a child. And that village is not always just your nuclear family. It's not always just you or your spouse and your grandparents or what have you. It's literally whoever has pitched in hand. I was looking at something and I was talking to someone about is Ebola, talking about that whole interaction of how things happen when a couple comes together, and it's a meeting of literally the I saw something disappear. So can you guys comment and let me know that I'm still here? It's literally a meeting of the families to say, this is what we're going to do. This is the intention of the husband for the wife and what have you. And again, I don't know enough about the whole thing, the whole ceremony of it. And I know that's a whole nother discussion that we'll probably have at another time. But the point is that community is taking into consideration what is going to happen and the commitment of the families to each other and what's going to happen. And that's one of the things that I believe the Black American family is beginning to lose. They're beginning to lose the connections with each other. There's cousins, they don't even talk to each other. They're 5 minutes down the road. They don't talk. They don't interact. They don't help. You have cousins or people in the family that are not necessarily working for whatever reason. And you have those that are pushing entrepreneurial endeavors, school. I know at one point, like literally both my husband and myself was in school, me working on my master's, then doctorate. He was working on his film degree, children's school, like everything. And we were doing it by ourselves, basically. So to come here, and then there's this idea of helpers. I personally look at it completely different. I look at it as, yeah, it's a little bit scary because it's like, whoa, someone else in my house, in my space, around my family. But also there's an opportunity for this organic exchange of culture to happen, because you have to even think about it. We brought up Will in regards to the slaves and them helping with the master's children. But if you think about how many of those white children became those to support the abolition of slavery, because they couldn't just look at Black as wrong or dirty or bad or ignorant or irrelevant, because they had this woman who nurtured and loved them, and a lot of times was there and understood and knew them more than their own parents, with an S. That love, that intimate entryway into the hearts of white children, as well as the spouses in other cases, it chipped away. All of that played a part. It chipped away at the hearts of people that created change, even if it was that one slave that got away because the child and their little bit of understanding knew that something was wrong and loved Nana, Mammy, whatever they called her, enough that they ignored the fact that she snuck out the back door in the middle of the night to go meet up with on the Underground Railroad. It's a lot. And so when I think about the helper system, yes, it may be people that it's a means to an end. Somebody told me, it's a trial and error. You may have workers, they come, and then all of a sudden they're gone and you're like, what did I do wrong? And she's like, nothing. They don't aspire to do that forever. But if we're coming and you're now coming from a level of, lower or middle class, and now you're kind of in an affluent upper middle class and you can afford that, then maybe that's an avenue of which resources can funnel into the South African community in terms of enrichment, finances, because imagine what you can do if you now not only have someone who, yeah, you're helping, but you're learning from that Black American family. That family is learning culture, language, customs, all of those things, ideals from you. And then that consideration, they call it in business, that consideration is being passed. And granted, it is money, but if you go into it with the right mindset, I believe that it can forge incredible relationships and that age-old tradition of storytelling and understanding happens because you're connecting with each other on a day-to-day basis. Maybe I look at things a little bit different, but that's kind of where my mindset was. Does that make sense? Let's go to the community and see what they're saying. My mom was a domestic worker and I hated that fact. And I told myself I'll never one, though my wife is lately insisting. Then we agreed on sharing chores. I clean, cook, do dishes, and garden. That's amazing. And we do the same thing. It's me and Mr. Gary. We ride or die. However, there are times that in order for you to have excellence in one area, some things will fall through the cracks. And I think that's where this idea came from, to have this conversation, because it's like, you know, what do you do when you feel like it's a little degrading, but at the same time, it is work. Somebody has to be the janitress. Somebody has to do it. If I'm meeting with a tour guide and they're experiencing things and showing us things and you know, Mr. Gary is on the film set and what have you, someone has to help. Now slavery is not paying them. Yes. But you know, if you're a Christian, it says that a servant is worth their hire. So if you're now investing your resources into someone, your finances, to have them assist you with doing something that is needed in order for one, your family to continue to grow and to be healthy and for it to work, most certainly, I think it's not as demeaning of a thing as you may think. Somebody said they watch too much Fox News. They're gonna learn what Fox News is really all about. That's true. Fox News is not the business. Is this channel your way of encouraging Black Americans coming to Africa? I really feel it's important for Black Americans to use their dollars to invest in Africa, even if they don't want to stay. That's true. I'm not trying to encourage any Black American to do anything other than to hear my take on things. It's my view, my husband's view, our children's view on our experience here. As I shared, we weren't the typical family that, oh, we're going back to Africa to experience and reconnect. That wasn't what our purpose was. We initially knew that we no longer wanted to live in the States, and we were vetting areas. Portugal, you know, Guam, some other places that we were thinking about going. We had visited. We thought it was going to happen later. And then we wind up visiting South Africa, and something imprinted on us, made us feel welcome. Whatever you want to relate to that. Some people, you know, say it's the ancestors calling. Some people say, you know, it was just the warming of heart, you know, that welcoming, whatever it is. This is where we are now. And I believe that we have a very unique opportunity to not only show the beautiful things of South Africa, but have these conversations that we may not think are all that important. These thoughts that I'm having, these conversations I have amongst other subscribers, people that I'm meeting, my family, within myself, and expose those things so that it begins to create organic conversation amongst other people that may be considering coming here, or maybe someone in their family decides to come here. South Africans like to overstate everything, amplify every little thing. Oh, some of the people, they abuse these poor people. I can see that happening. Yes. And people are quick to make assumptions without doing research. African Americans are literally tired of America being a minority in a place where racism is not hidden. It's tough. It's not about dollar, but peace of mind and belonging. Right. And listen, it's a lot of things. Like, I don't like load shedding. It's annoying. It's annoying. But it's the quality of life. It's like in the States, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in a week, month, whatever, live lavishly, and your lifestyle sucks. You're making all this money and you still don't feel safe in your own community. I mean, and when I say safe, I don't mean common wisdom, understanding that you just don't leave yourself open and not be discerning and mindful, have security, things like that. Check your surroundings when you're going out, just typical things like that. But I mean, there is an understanding and a knowing that if I'm in certain situations because of the color of my skin, I will be treated differently. Not I may, I will. That's a norm. Thank you. In light of the year of the return, how can returning African Americans coordinate with Africans in building new integrated communities? What value do you see African Americans adding to the continent? I think understanding of technologies, the level of teaching and education that many seek to leave Africa to go to the Americas for, implementing those understandings and those key sectors and critical skill areas within the country. I actually had someone send me they sent me a notice. Hold on, let's see. It was a article where they were talking about the influence of Black Americans who have access to capital and how they can impact Black American, or I'm sorry, not Black American, but Black businesses within South Africa, and stressing the term of help, investing in those businesses in order to help those businesses to succeed with regards to the South African business owners teaching the African Americans how to navigate some of the very cumbersome rules and understandings of business within the country, but facilitating that flow of information and resources kind of like this way and meeting together, and then you fly, right? So I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And I think that's what's needed. Understanding, again, it's not for Americans, Black, white, or anything else to come and save Africa. Africa doesn't need to be saved. What Africa does need is to be no longer strategically held down by some of these superpowers that remove resources and create this facade of greater thanness, if that's a thing, in their areas of the world, and strategically putting things in place, whether it's embargoes, treaties, backhandlings, what have you, in order to keep Africa at a level of where it can't rise above. And it only begins to see increases in its production and wealth creation when other nations need production or the raw materials and resources that Africa embodies, like Asia. when they begin to do all of these really big infrastructure increases and production increases, and they needed Africa's raw materials in order to do that. So of course you started to see the economic increase within the country go up, but then when that went down, it went down. So, you know, how that happens specifically doesn't happen overnight, but I believe that with African Americans coming into the country, pouring resources, and this understanding of, again, it doesn't matter where exactly you stem from. You stem from here somewhere, you do belong. But wherever your heart calls and you have that burden to come and to give resources, ideas, finances, whatever it may be, that is a part of that change. That's a part of that change, because that's the thing that's missing in America, where we can be brilliant, we ace the tests, we ace the tests, we work hard, we bring things to the table, and still not being seen as an equal, where you will have your ideas and your understanding of things used and still not be credited or given truly the acknowledgement and the access, more so, not so much the acknowledgement, that's for the birds, but the access to capital to push these things, as well as the resources, whether it's human or capital resources, infrastructure resources, to push those ideals, because it's a thing underlying of, you can only go but so far, because then what happens to us? And that is what the Black American is seeking when they come here. So again, this idea of helpers, if these people are coming and they have families, somebody needs to be there to help with the children. So I wouldn't look at it as, if you're thinking, oh, it's just, looking down on workers or what have you. One, I know for many of us, oh my gosh, you would be like our best friend. You're going to help me cook. You're going to help me clean up and run behind this kid who is literally like having a whole meltdown. And I also have to finish this paper or this contract or whatever it is. My God. And I'm not going to have to starve to provide you with a resource that's then going to now trickle down into your economy of your family, of your livelihood, school fees, medical, whatever. I don't see where that's degrading at all. I don't see where that's degrading at all. As long as there's a level of understanding of mutual respect, it's a transaction. It looks like small business to me. Yes, West Baltimore, that's exactly where I'm from. Yeah, Fox News won't tell you about mass shootings. Absolutely. Matter of fact, they just had one targeting Asian Americans. They just had one this weekend. Safety is everything. Thank you. On that note, guys, we're at an hour and 8 minutes. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to do as promised. I'm going to create a panel. And on Bigo, let me put it here. I'm not going to end the live. I said that earlier. So I'm actually going to go on to Bigo. For those of you that might want to come on and just have a little bit of conversation, see what the vibe and the feel is. I'm going to also, the user ID, the Bigo ID that you're looking for is my YouTube name, JourneyToZA, right? So what you'll do is you'll come on, you'll make a profile. Can you see that? You'll search at the top and you'll put in JourneyToZA, no spaces, and you'll come right into the panel. I'm actually going to make a multi-guest live now. So that people can come in If you come in, make sure that you type Journey to ZA in the comment box so that I know that you're coming from YouTube. Hello for money. With 1.2 billion Africans and an average age of less than 20 years, the future Africa as a world power is bright. Absolutely, Black Panther. Please don't pay helpers less. Hi, Rena. How are you? Don't pay them less than $4,000 and $6,000. Our helpers become part of your family, and their family becomes part of yours. Sharing is part of it. Absolutely. Hey, Somi. How are you? I have it here. What I will do, if you're coming, if you can do this for me, if you're coming over to Bigo, maybe you need to sign up. It may take you a few minutes. Can you at least put in the comments that you are, just say, Journey, I'm coming, so that I will know that I'm not holding people up, because we're done here. We're just going to kind of have a little bit of conversation and test that out, the community over here in Bigo. And I'll know. Otherwise, I can end it here. But I thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate you. 43 people in the live throughout the live today. Very consistent. I really appreciate you all. I hope that this conversation assisted you in some way. Helped maybe shape your idea in terms of the helper system, where you may have looked at it one way and you're looking at it a little different. Maybe if you have your own helper, even if you're South African, you have a helper, looking at that entire exchange a little bit different. That's great. Will said, "How's the States, Ghost? Ghost, are you gonna come on? Are you gonna come on to? Can you come on to Bigo so people can say hi to you there?" If you have trouble getting into the room, please just let me know. I can help you out, but it's pretty straightforward. You just create your account and type Journey to ZA. Oh, okay. Got it. He's working. Journey to ZA. Hello, Kevin. How are you? Remember, that's the Bigo ID. Remember, if you are coming over from YouTube, please put Journey to ZA in the comments. Let me open up the room here so you can come up on the panel. When you get there, you'll just hit the add button to come on up. It's a lot of you guys still sitting in this room. Are you trying to figure out how to come over to Bigo, or are you just waiting for me to keep talking? Hi, Kevin. How are you? Okay, guys. So I'm going to go over to Bigo because I don't want to sit unless anybody has any questions. I'll give about 2 or 3 more minutes for people to come over. Again, if you're having trouble finding me, please type in the chat box and I will help you navigate to get over. Can you put it in the comments? Okay, it's called Bigo Live. That's the app. The app is Bigo Live. And the Bigo ID is JourneyToZA. Oh, yeah, there we go. Let me put it. Bigo ID is JourneyToZA. So when you go onto the app, you'll make, you can use like Facebook or Gmail or whatever, your phone number to make an ID. And then what you'll do is once you make the ID on the main page, you'll see you'll see a little bell, but you'll also see like something where you search. You'll hit that. You'll put JourneyToZA in the comments. I'm sorry, in the search box. And you'll actually see the name. It'll say JourneyToZA. It'll actually say I'm live. It'll be blinking because it'll say that I'm actually live. And you just come on into the room. Does that explain, Will? Hi, Dylan. How are you? And please put JourneyToZA in the comments so when you come in, you can type using the little box with the 3 dots in it. You can type in the comments. Okay, it's 16 after. I am going to end this stream, you guys. I'll sit over here for a little bit. If you want to come in, by all means do. Austin, it would be great to chat with you, love. If you come on over. Oh, it helped you. Okay, you're doing it now. Okay, cool. Okay, I'll be here. But thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. I really appreciate you. For those of you that's coming over for our family meeting, by all means do so. Everyone else, I will talk with you soon. Please comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you would like to connect with me, please reach out on Instagram, the Elisa Gary, as well as Twitter. And you can also email me at theelisagary@gmail.com. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. Until next week. See you later.